Welcome back to Learn to Design with Onshape. My name is Christian Stark, and in this clip I will show you how to actually sketch on a mobile device. But before we start sketching, the first step is to set the default units for your model. Next to the Onshape logo is a document menu, which I open with a single finger touch. Next, I select the Units dialog and switch from inches and pounds to millimeters and kilograms for our default lengths and math units. The next step is to pick a plane for our sketch. I pick the front plane and touch the sketch tool to switch into sketch mode. We now need to rotate the view and turn off visibility for the default planes. I use a two-finger touch to bring up the context menu and select View Normal to Sketch Plane, which will rotate the view. I will also turn off visibility for the three default planes by touching the eye icon next to the planes names in the feature list. To start sketching, I touch the line tool and start a line by a single tab. The second tab will mark the end point of the line, but also the start point of the next line segment. Continue marking points to create a polygon and close it by tabbing the initial start point. Once the polygon is closed, the inside area turns gray, indicating we have a closed profile. Let's quickly delete the polygon. Next, we select the corner rectangle tool and mark one corner point by a single finger tab. You now can tab and drag and move to another place to mark the other corner when you lift your finger. As you drag the corner, automatic yellow reference lines will show up if you're next to a vertical or horizontal reference point. If you place the corner with these yellow lines active, you automatically insert horizontal or vertical constraints. We don't want to do this and place a corner without the yellow lines active. Again, quickly delete the rectangle using the back button and select the center point rectangle tool. In this case, we use the origin as a center point for our rectangle and now drag the corner point to size and shape the rectangle. This rectangle is now the base geometry for our GoPro part. The next step is to create the rounded top part of the rectangle by using the tangent arc tool. You pick one line endpoint to which the arc will be tangent and select the opposite line point to create a half circle. Next, we use the circle tool to place a circle on the midpoint on the short line below the half circle. The midpoint constraint is also automatically assigned to the circle. At this point, we can remove the horizontal line. I will use the Trim Segment tool that looks like a scissor to remove this line. You will notice that this horizontal line is now broken into 4 individual segments, which I will individually remove using the precision selector that will surface with a tab and hold. Move the crosshair over the line and lift your finger to delete it. We now have one side of our GoPro part created. Since our part is symmetric, I will in the next step mirror the half circle and midpoint circle against a horizontal construction line through the origin. I select the line tool and construction line tool in the toolbar and tab and drag from the origin to get an automatic reference line. Once I lift my finger, the starting point for my construction line is created. I now tab and drag the line to the left. Once I lift my finger, the endpoint is set and the construction line is created. Next, I quickly delete the lower horizontal line of the rectangle using again the Trim Segment tool. I now select the Mirror tool. Next, I have to select the mirror line, which is horizontal construction line we just created. You'll notice in the top a small notification box that will let you know this next step. Once you've selected the mirror line, the notification box tells you to select entities to be mirrored. I now select the half and full circle and the mirror copies show up at the bottom. This is important to remember that this approach also automatically inserted symmetry constraints to the appropriate sketch entities. Why that's useful, I'll demonstrate in the next step of dimensioning our sketch. To add dimensions, I select the Dimension tool from the toolbar. Next, I select the left and right vertical lines to define the width of our part. After I selected the second line, a calculator type box appears that allows me to enter a dimension of 14 millimeters. Since this is the first time we define in our sketch a dimension, all entities will be scaled accordingly to retain proportions. This is fairly useful feature of Onshape, but again only works when you define the first dimension. Let me rezoom quickly and then dimension the upper circle by using the precision selector to select the circle. Once selected, the dimension is displayed, which you now can move by dragging your finger to the position you want the dimension to be placed. Once you lift your finger, the calculator box appears and you can enter 5 mm for the circle diameter. So let's quickly change the upper circle dimension to 8 mm and you'll see that the symmetry constraint on the lower circle automatically changes that one as well. So entities that are created with symmetry constraints change based on any changes applied to their original counterparts. In fact, you can actually change such symmetry entries or dimensions individually unless you remove the symmetry constraint. But that's a topic for a later video clip. At this point we have our initial sketch finished and can now extrude our GoPro part.